Fuso starting grid, let's check it out for race number 23 today. 10th pole position for Jamie Whincup in season 2013, equal personal best Scotty McLaughlin. James Courtney, who by the way has re-signed with the Holden Racing team alongside Chaz Mostert, equal personal best for him. Then Fabian Coulthard off yesterday, looking to make a better run today with David Reynolds. Then the Davisons, Will and Alex together, positions 7 and 8, followed then by Jason Bright, who went off this morning in qualifying. What a great run for Tim Slade in the Erebus Motorsport entry.
Alex Premier, the Frenchman, and Shane Van Gisbergen, the Kiwi. Mark Winterbottom has Garth Tander alongside of him. So you'll remember that Craig Lowndes qualified in 13th for this race, but he has a 2-spot penalty hanging over from yesterday, so he drops back to 15th and has Maro Engel alongside him. Lee Holdsworth and Tony D'Alberto. David Wall in a tangle with Todd Kelly yesterday and fired off midfield. There's Scotty Pye, Ecole Racing, and Rick Kelly. Jack Daniels Racing, with Rick making his 350th race start right here. Jono Webb and Russell Ingall. It's been a tough weekend for Jonathan Webb, who's shown some very good form throughout the year. And Todd Kelly is also celebrating a milestone. This is his 400th championship race.
Subject of celebrations, by the way. I'm not sure whether we've covered it off earlier, but Fabian Coulthard, and it's a happy birthday to the man on screen there at the moment. I think he's the ripe old age of 31.
Well, this will make him work for it, because these are the most changeable, difficult conditions for any race driver. Young Chaz Mostert on P4. This will be a telling moment for him. He's on the outside of the track. The best spot to start this race is on the racing line. It's the cleanest, best surface.
And he was just in conversation with his guys on the radio, and Adam DeBore helping him in the engineering corner of that bunker about shadowing what the leaders do with strategy. And we'll see who blinks here, who wants to get on a wet tyre.
You're 3 rows back, 2 rows back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine, and stop it there. Perfect, perfect.
Millimetre perfect for Jamie Whincup. Guided in by Mark Dutton. We know, history tells us at this racetrack that it can change and change quite dramatically. If you remember all the way back to 2001, Queensland 500, when Paul Radisich and Stevie Johnson won in the wet.
Yeah, Matty, speaking of the wet, that drizzle has cleared now in pit lane, so this might just work out all right.
On board with Dave Reynolds. See there the last cars pulling up. Green flag.
Green flag, green flag.
So yesterday, Jamie Whincup and Scott McLaughlin started 1 and 2, and that was how they finished. But this is a different day. Weather conditions are changing, and this one could well be a lottery.
McLaughlin, that was a better jump.
He's going to put pressure on our championship leader up to turn 1, and the young Kiwi will take the lead. And look at Chaz Mostert. He slots into second.
His start was a ripper, Mostert. He had more pace than anybody. And he's getting a bit of a rub up there at the moment with Whincup through 2. None of them have got any grip. They're pioneers on the run to the braking area. Whincup's got the run down the inside.
And that really hurt Chaz Mostert on exit at turn 2. He was struggling to get it back on, back onto the road, down there at 3.
Great driving. All of them were out of control in the braking area then. There were 4 or 5 cars that used every little bit of road end more. Courtney was in the back of Whincup the whole braking area.
Now Mostert really lost out down there at 3. He ran very wide and in the process dropped about 3 or 4 spots. But McLaughlin's bolted. Look at the gap. Great margin for him over Jamie Whincup. And there's Mostert back with Tim Slade, who's got away pretty well. Alex Davison underneath him.
Tander into the back of Davison. This could be ugly here. 3 abreast.
And Davison and Tander got together. That is, Alex Davison got together yesterday, and the brothers are at it here. That's Will on the outside of Alex.
Shane Van Gisbergen's just tucked in behind Garth Tander. He's got Jason Bright on his left. So Alex on the inside at turn 2. Will's on his left, and now they go a little bit better single file down the back straight. Van Gisbergen goes in search of clean air over to the right. Davison in front of him does the same, and Tander follows suit. McLaughlin's got a half a second lead over Jamie Whincup.
How intense was that onto the back straight? They're all weaving and dodging and moving around, trying to get down to the inside run. Davison did a good job not to drill the back of Mostert. This is very, very high-level driving in conditions that no one knows the grip level.
And that margin between McLaughlin and Whincup just narrowed up on that lap, and now Bright's underneath Shane Van Gisbergen. They were battling yesterday as well.
He's used a slingshot effect around the two left-handers, Jason Bright and Team DOC Commodore, to get straight past Van Gisbergen. And the Giz has Mark Winterbottom sweating on him. So this time around, it's a 1:11.24 for Scott McLaughlin and 11:12 for Whincup. So the gap is 0.54 of a second.
And Slade's the big winner in the early laps. He's gained 4 positions to get to position 6, so that's a really good run for young Tim.
He's on board with Jamie Whincup. Look out left-hand side of his cockpit, and you'll see car 33, the Fujitsu GRM entry, just get a ripping start.
And that was the 2 outside runs. So McLaughlin and Mostert got the best run because they were on the best part of the track.
And that's where it cost McLaughlin. Watch this. A little bit of rubbing with Whincup. And now he's trying to get it back on to the road. And he had to have a couple of cracks at it.
It was good stuff, wasn't it?
Watch
very,
this.
very good.
Drops 2, and then again, and then again.
And that awkward exit for Chaz was the reason why a bunch of guys were able to get at him when they got down here at turn 3. He was on the wrong side of the road. It's just a bit unfortunate. His good start in many respects cost him in that regard. He had more rolling speed in turn 1 than anybody.
Think about that rear bar.
3/4 of a second is the margin. McLaughlin over Whincup. He's just done the fastest lap of the race, Scott McLaughlin, 1:10.5. McLaughlin, Whincup, Courtney, Reynolds, Coulthard, Slade, Mostert, both the Davisons, Alex and Will, and Garth Tander's 10th.
So remember, this one, guys, is 32 laps, 100 kilometres. We had a 60-60 format yesterday, so they've got to make the soft tyre. It's a soft tyre weekend. Got to make the soft tyre run for longer. And there'll be a lot of change in this race in terms of performance early versus performance late, based on the cars and drivers who are able to look after the tyre for the longer duration.
McLaughlin continues to build speed here. He was the quickest man to the second timing intermediate there into turn 6. And Alex Davison was fast into the first intermediate. Alan Gow on the right, James Courtney's manager, gave me nothing yesterday when we asked the question about the new deal. But today at midday, the Holden Racing team announced that James has re-signed in his arrangement with the Holden Racing team.
For 3 years. Be the longest stint at any race team that he's had, and he spoke to Mark Beretta this morning and was very proud to be associated with such a famous team for now such a long time. As we ride on board with Davey Reynolds looking at the rear of the Toll HRT Commodore.
Davey was pretty happy with the performance of the car in both qualifying sessions this morning. He said in the end, there's just such tiny margins that it's a bit of a lottery where you pop out. He said, I was largely happy with the performance of the car in my laps. Look at Tander up the inside here of Bright. This is good. Big battle for 10th position at the moment. Garth didn't quite make it stick in turn 5.
Garth Tander up to 11th spot after starting from 15th, but the man at the moment is young Scott McLaughlin. Now holds over a second lead on Jamie Whincup and the early stages of this 100-kilometre race, the Coates Hire Ipswich 360.
David Wall got me an absolute beauty into turn 1. The bloke is an absolute flat-out moron. If I catch him, Jesus, I don't know what I'm going to do to him.
Okay, mate, we have registered everything you've said. It's a long range. You have good pace in the car. Let's keep going.
Mate, I'm really glad you registered all that. It's not really a long race. It's 100 k's and we're half a bloody lap behind. That's not helping me at all.
25 laps.
It's hard to take your eyes off anything at the Queensland Raceway. Now Mega Wall's got it covered for you. And boy, there's been some aggression already in the first 8 laps of this race. McLaughlin has a 1.8 second lead over Jamie Whincup. Mark Winterbottom, who you're riding with, has Garth Tander ahead of him. So that's 12th, looking forward to 11th. And this horror run of poor luck continues for Lee Holdsworth, the Irwin racer out of Erebus Motorsport. The front left is damaged on that car, and this will show us why. Oh, crunched in the middle. That's why.
So Holdsworth's been on the radio talking about contact with Dean Fiore, and he says it's very similar to what happened yesterday. There's been a bit of debris on the road as well, so yellow flag out, and we're hearing that we're likely to see the safety car intervene here, and there we go, confirmation with the boards out.
Safety car, safety
At exactly the time that McLaughlin had his biggest lead in the race. It just ticked over to 2 seconds ahead of Whincup as the safety car was called upon. So the debris just down there on the entry to Dick Johnson Straight. So we will take a quick break while the Petters STP safety car does its job and see how Scott McLaughlin can handle this restart with Whincup ready to pounce on him.
What's the balance like, mate? Pretty good, man. Starting up again without turning the tires. No worries.
We're safe, 120 on the safe, we're on the street, we're safe, we're going to go another lap.
You're going to do another lap, you're going to just a reminder, mate.
Okay, thank you, safety car. Yes, just confirming we're going another lap, so just continue 120 on the straights, we're safe.
No worries. Okay, pace. Yeah, mate, pace is good. Drop it to 10.5 laps, so you've got to remember we've got still have 20 to go, 3 go. 3.
front of car 80. Safety car, when you get to turn 3, back to 80 and hold 80.
That's race director Tim Schenken there, just giving the final orders. Make sure that the field is in correct order for the coming restart. And this will be another moment of truth in the career of Scott McLaughlin. He's already had a sterling start to this race. From the front row, dragged down Jamie Whincup, and has been leading and was quite comfortable just before the safety car was ordered out because of debris on the track, the exit of turn 6. And so that big gap has now evaporated completely. And he's got to show a mature head on young shoulders to be in control of this restart.
The good part about this restart, Matt, is you can pretty much determine your exit out of the final corner to be nice and straight. The smart thing to do for Scott, it's quite a long corner. Slow it up, get it turned, run out of the corner as straight as you can. Don't get too much wheel spin. Control this start. It's very important for his mental approach to the rest of this race to get this done properly.
Safety car is in pit lane.
Well, he's gone early. Whoa. Oh. No, got away with it.
Second crack was good. And that's just what he wanted. An uneventful one, perhaps. We'll wait and see.
No, he's fine. He's fine for the regulation. Just sometimes when you do it that way, when you gas it up before the corner and you run wide by yourself, you get sideways, you've already done it. You've already indicated the intention and you penalised yourself. You got away with it, so that was good. Good exit and a very good job from Scott McLaughlin.
So it's Whincup second, James Courtney is third, Fabian Coulthard, then Davey Reynolds and Chaz Mostert. Chaz starting from 4th. Dropped a few spots, but he's back up to 6th now.
Sometimes it's just the paint scheme difference, but there looks to be a different roll rate in McLaughlin's car versus Jamie Whincup's car. In fact, it looked evident there as well on that shot. Just different behaviours in the cars. Look for that. Each team's got its own tweaks, trying to get the most out of it. Certainly the boys at Fujitsu Gary Rogers Motorsport have done a nice job of getting the most out of that car this weekend so far.
Mostert's having a look at David Reynolds. So a little bit of a gap from Coulthard back to Reynolds.
So that graphic that just came up a moment ago explains that James Moffat and car number 21 David Wall, the incident they were involved with earlier where we saw Moffat and Strife, that'll be looked at post-race.
The exit of turn 2 there on the run down to the main straight. Oh. Back straight, and now Mostert will get on the inside of the Bottle O Ford. Can he hold it?
It's one of the few sports where you can get away with chucking rocks at the other bloke.
Now Davey comes up on the inside. The first left-hander.
Oh, that's contact. That was the crisscross without the crisscross. That's the crisscross bang.
The weather, depending on where you look on the compass at the moment, it's sunny on the cars right now, but it's definitely threatening. Look at that, such different conditions than just prior to the start of the race. All around us, some dreary cloud. There you go. Looking off to the southwest. Great shot of the boys on the run down to turn 1. That's 240 kilometres an hour, and they actually run out of breath, the engines in the cars with the gearing in them in 5th gear. Mark Larkham made that point earlier in the broadcast.
Scafey, you'll be well pleased, mate, just reporting from the pit wall down here. Just looking at the overall field, as you know, we ran a few calcs last night, and this new generation of car, when compared against last year's vehicles, at the end of the 30-lap race yesterday, was 50% more compressed than the same time in previous years. So there's something about this car that is allowing, particularly down through the pack, this close racing we're seeing. And if I look out now, I can see 1, 2, 3 battles going on generally at any one time. It's really worked well, mate.
Yeah, it's been good, hasn't it, Larko? And the way that the field was compressed yesterday was a really good indication. It was, as you said, 50% more compact than the previous year. Oh, here we go. Bit of contact there. Tanders pushed Davison wide. He'll be in strife for that because that was a bit of a bump and run. He's pushed him wide and made that spot. His teammate now is back up the inside of Davison. This will be interesting on the turn in. Oh, that's as close as you ever get to unloading your teammate at one of the wildest corners in Australia. That was very, very close.
He had to use the inside curb too.
It's funny how qualifying shapes these races. The difference between this one and the next one and the complexion of the field. At the moment, it's all Holden at the top end of town. Ford boys look stronger in this next one. Of course, there's the lone Erebus Motorsport Mercedes E63 in the middle of this as well with Tim Slade.
He's done that.
Oh, he's redressed it. Yep.
So that's a smart thing to do. Good teamwork there from the HRT guys, and clever from Garth to hand that back, because that was definitely going to be, or some sort of penalty, whether it was a pit lane penalty or whatever. It was a bump and run. Now he's going to go back and work on him. Mostert up the inside of Reynolds. This is the turn one incident with the two teammates right up on the curb, as Matt said. That is so close on the entry to there. 240k on approach, 155 km/h mid-corner speed. And those two cars, and Davison buys in also.
Looks like Davey Reynolds is starting to hurt for rear grip in that car. He's wide at turn two. Alex is up the inside.
Davey's suffering a flat spot. He's being rounded up. So we just saw Chaz Mostert get past at the same spot where the two FPR cars got a little bit crazy. And now Alex Davison picks off David as well.
Spoke to Davey Reynolds just prior to the start of the race, and the reason that he ended up out of business yesterday was a flat tyre. So flat spot now and a flat tyre yesterday hasn't been good for him.
Guys, Erebus showed so much promise coming to this weekend. At the moment, Lee Holdsworth out of this race. Not only that, he's in the transport at the moment debriefing, and he just needs to be left alone. This is pretty heartbreaking for him.
He was giving an animated description on the radio before, and he miscalled who he thought it was that hit him, but he can't believe his bad luck. He's been in the wars just recently with DNFs. King's been on the wrong side of the battering ram arrangements. It sort of goes on at the back of the field sometimes. Very frustrating for him.
That's 5 straight retirements now for Lee Holdsworth, as Jason Bright does a job on David Reynolds at turn one.
The way the car looks, it looks like it's got a flat spot on the left front. Sometimes you can pick it up on the vibration. Couldn't hear it then, so we'll have a listen for around the left-hand corners and see whether we can actually hear it and make it's got a 50-cent piece shaped to the tyre, and make either a shuddering or sort of slapping noise on the road when they have that. Can't hear it there at the right-hander, but the way that the car understeers and runs wide, he's in plenty of trouble.
This is the left-hander coming up.
Let's have a listen. No. I'm not sure whether it's on a front left or right. Can't really tell. This is Tim Slade right in behind Dave Reynolds. They're battling for 8th and 9th position.
And just watching him skate, he certainly looks much more vulnerable on the right hand, which suggests it's a left-hand front. And it's a really hard decision, isn't it, for a driver in these shorter races, because he knows if he pits, he goes to the back of the grid, no doubt about it, back of the race. You stay out there, you know you've got to learn then for the rest of the race the art of being overtaken. Neil, any comment? You're pretty good at that.
He's deferred any comment. That overtaking was exactly what David Wall just did on Todd Kelly. They got tangled up yesterday, but there was nothing nasty about that one. Scott McLaughlin is our race leader.
What I'm doing is
You're watching the Coates Hire Ipswich 360 from Queensland Raceway. And a move here from Mark Winterbottom on Gartander. So that puts Winterbottom up to 11th. Our race leader, Scott McLaughlin, Jiu-Jitsu GRM, 1.2 seconds over Jamie Whincup. James Courtney is third. Fabian Coulthard, Chaz Mostert, Jason Bright 6th, Alex Davison 7th. And these two, a little bit of push and shove down the back straight. And that's high-speed poker right there.
That was close. Very close to turning the Gelwood Falcon around. And Alex was trying to move it across, and there was obviously an overlap, so the cars bumped, and that was a very big moment at 250 kilometres an hour. In the meantime, a very good move with Winterbottom down the inside of Tander at turn 2. He got that job done. He fired up the inside, pushed Garth a little bit wide and got away with it. It was a good impromptu move.
Guys, you can see why Queenslanders love their home circuit. Queensland Raceway is a spectator's delight. Have a look at this. Thousands out around the embankment here, right around turn 1, and you are so close to the action you could just reach out and touch it. Beautiful Queensland weather and sunshine. This place, I haven't seen it look better in years. You can stand up here and enjoy it with Russell Ingall's daughters. I reckon that's a pretty good way to spend the day too. Hey, girls.
It's amazing. They're so beautiful.
Hang on.
Oh, no, they're beautiful. They're great.
Sasha and Jazz, they're gorgeous. I'm going to let Jules loose.
No, nothing about the mother. Not a comment about the mother at all, Matthew.
Russell's here, 23rd. You're enjoying this, Neil, aren't you? Watching your mate here try and dig himself out of an enormous hole.
He's had a few battles over the years, but that'll be a good one when that one unfolds. It'll be a different Ingle versus Scape when Julia gets in. 1.38 seconds gap, McLaughlin to Whincup. He looks in control at the moment, Scott McLaughlin, and if he does this, young rookie grabs his first win in the main game in V8 Supercar racing. It's early days yet, but if he does it, he becomes the 10th different winner. In fact, he won in New Zealand as I look at my notes here, but it's the 9th different winner of the 2013 championship season, and another big victory for the rookie. Well, how was that?
Something wrong then.
Yeah, was that just pick up on the tyre, or?
That was like it had a tyre failure. It just arrowed left in the middle of the corner. Very strange. I've never seen that. That was halfway through the corner and just stepped sideways. Exactly. Aaron Noonan in the box has got our FPR data that Reynolds lock up with the flat spot on that tyre. The wheel was locked up for 82.5 metres. That'll probably do it.
Massive damage. If it was that long, I'm surprised it's hung in that long.
Battle is still out there. Here we go. That was just unbelievable. In the middle of the corner, it just ran wide.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the other side of the car there, so I just broke loose and didn't have the grip when he needed it. Spooky.
So this is David Reynolds. Let's ride with him. That's Will Davison behind him.
Check out the accuracy. Winterbottom, the car behind. How close they slide the car from white line to white line. The car, they cannot use another skerrick of road. Have a look through here. This is one of the bumpiest, most difficult corner approaches. Use every little bit right into the apex, right there, and then right out to the outside. They are totally grip limited, driving the car as hard as you can possibly drive the cars.
Russell and Todd. Kelly. Ooh, that's wild.
Russell straightened him up. he would have spun then. If they didn't make contact later, he would have spun.
So there's the 4 Nissans in a row. Rick Kelly, Todd Kelly, James Moffat and Michael Caruso.
Michael's been all over the shop with setup on that car this weekend, just trying to find an answer. He's been adopting a whole range of different technical approaches to try and get the car to behave, but he's been very disappointed in the lap speed.
And Neil, talking about car behaviour, I was just talking to Wes McDougall, Tim Slade's engineer, trying to understand why he ran wide at turn 2 there. And like us, mate, he's scratching his head. What we do know about that corner, it's one of the longest loaded corners in motorsport country. And you're talking like 5 seconds, that the car's loaded. And the left rear tyre at that point has, at its peak G, about 1.2 tonne of load on it. Now, with a soft tyre, we know we get a lot of rubber build-up and rubbish on the road. So the line around that corner is very, very slim. You've only got to be, foot and a half, or what do we want to call that, 400 mil wide, and you're gone. I'd say it'd be as simple as that.
Yeah, it might be like it just didn't look right. It just the dynamics of it got into the middle of the corner, and it is, as you said, one of the highest load, longest load periods that the cars are under for the year. And immediately it just jumped left.
So Rick Kelly's at the head of this Nissan 4 train. And in 2 events' time, we go into enduro mode at Sandown for the Sandown 500. If you go to v8supercars.com.au, you could win a hot lap with Rick at Sandown. It'll be quite a ride. Check out all the details on our website.
Russell Ingall looks pretty racy in this one at the moment, doesn't he? There's Betty Clemenco from Erebus Motorsport watching Maro Engel. Maro's shown some strong glimpses of speed here this weekend. Russell's still the lap record holder that he achieved here last year on the soft tyre. And it was the last venue that he stood on the podium several years ago. He's done a lot of testing here. I think it was 9 years of testing for Russell Ingall at this racetrack, so he's just about carved a groove in the place.
Good pass. That was for 20th position.
She had a great run on the final day at Townsville, didn't he, the enforcer? And he was absolutely spent. Look at this, Scotty Pye going right over to the right-hand side of the racetrack. Rick Kelly decides to dart left and avoid ending up on the grass. So under 10 laps to go. The lead at the front is 1.4 seconds. But those 3 green boxes there on your screen indicate that the last 3 laps, Jamie Whincup has been faster than our race leader.
See Rick Kelly grabbed the headlights on then and signalled that he wasn't that impressed with the motion of Scott wandering around the road on the run down to turn 3. He covered pretty aggressively to the inside, and then he went back to the outside. That's generally frowned upon. Pretty wild cluster of cars, that one, isn't it?
It is.
So 1.68 is the gap. McLaughlin, Whincup now. McLaughlin might be on target for this second race win this year.
It's got a bit of ugliness written all over this, hasn't it?
It's just brewing.
Yeah.
Great
job. Oh, sorry, mate. I was just going to say Chaz Mostert, that is the first of the forwards. He's done a really good job so far. He's been very, very consistent.
Passengers' windows out the other side of the Dodo car there as well on the front left-hand corner of that car. Here's the race leader. He's going to make the remark there, Scafey, that the other problem with those at the back of the pack is they're invariably angry because they're at the back of the pack. So their demeanour's bad from the start.
Is it like a bad attitude?
Let's enjoy this. This is a young guy who's just discovering the peak of his powers. Scotty McLaughlin, race leader into turn 1.
take note of the driving style there of Scott McLaughlin. He brakes the car a long way into the corner. So that's called trail braking. And as he brakes the car into the corner, you can see the dynamics of the car. He actually has to catch it just like that. So it's on the slide. And he does a really nice job of setting the attitude of the car and getting the trajectory of the corner right based on the way he turns it in and the way that he gets to the corner. It's quite a complex art, something that the really good drivers are very good at. This man Lowndes has always been one of the masters of it, and that style is a very good one that will hold him in good stead.
Well, between them, Craig Lowndes and Garth Tander have 16 race wins at this circuit. There's Casey Stoner on the right-hand side watching intently, but it just goes to show you, doesn't it, about qualifying. When you qualify mid-pack, you race mid-pack in this championship, and it's an almighty hard job to push through the field. That's why nobody's won a race from outside the top 10 so far this season. Lowndes started 15th, he's now 12th.
Yeah, hey, look at this. One of the most fascinating little components to this race is this one going on here. Davey Reynolds can't believe his luck. He's got a flat-spotted tyre, we know that. His car's not as good as the two blokes behind him, who both happen to be his teammates who are racing each other. And we know the new rules they've got in the team. Race your hardest, go for it. But he's pretty lucky because both of those blokes are kind of holding each other up and they're not allowing him to get by him.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like I was going to say before, that the thing we haven't picked up on very well so far is Alex Davison, who's in front of Dave Reynolds, is the leader of the FPR group this weekend for today's race, obviously. And Davison has done a really good job. So you can see there behind the other teammates, Dave Reynolds is hindered by that flat-spotted tyre, and Davison and Winterbottom, normally two of the very fastest and best operators in the field, are behind the two teammates.
And all of them are being outpointed by Chaz Mostert in the Dick Johnson racing car with engineering support from Ford Performance Racing. So that's interesting because his performance relative to those in the Fords behind him is pretty impressive as well, Mostert. So it's all Holden territory at the top of the moment. McLaughlin, Whincup, Courtney. And Courtney's done a nice job in this race. Kind of been a quiet run for him, but a nice celebration for his new deal.
But on this Ford side of the fence, let's not forget that qualifying's already done for the next race. Will Davison will start from pole position and Chaz Mostert will start alongside him on the front row of the grid, and David Reynolds starts in third. So they'll just be looking to get to the end of this one. There's nothing they can do from here except bank the points that they've got. But you're right, Scafie, a great effort again from Alex Davison in the Gerald Ford.
Tyres have hung in pretty well, guys, better than I thought. So last lap for the leaders was 1:11 flat, not too bad. And really the variance from peak speed at the beginning of the race to where we sit now in lap speed has been about 3/4 of a second if you averaged across the field. So that's not bad performance. It's a very hard place when it comes to stress on the left rear tyre, and even the front left tyre actually works pretty hard around here too. These guys are just chained together at the moment in performance, aren't they? And when you consider the brake locking issue that Dave Reynolds had and the subsequent tyre damage, he's hanging on nicely. So once again, another 1:11.0 for McLaughlin. Whincup was a whisker quicker at 1:10.8, and the gap's actually down to 0.8. He's got to keep working for it, McLaughlin. He's not going to get off with a real easy victory here. Whincup's going to make him work for it.
I had a look out the window as they rounded turn 6, and that's the kind of view that I got there, knowing that Scott McLaughlin can see car number 1 in his mirror. It's enough just to rattle you. This 20-year-old Kiwi kid has shown that he doesn't get rattled very easily in this championship. He alerted us to his talent the last couple of years, winning the Dunlop Series last year. Remember, he got a race call-up at the Sydney Telstra 500 by Gary Rogers. He finished top 10 at Bathurst last year with Jonathan Webb, and then came out this year and won just the 6th race of the season to become the youngest ever winner in our category. He's a very popular performer, and he will certainly love this one. He's held off the championship leader, and that's another win for Generation Next. Scott McLaughlin gets his second.
Awesome. Champagne showers, brothers.
Chaz Mostert, does he hold off Jason Bright? He couldn't. Mostert goes from 5th to 6th. And it's high fives and smiles all round down at Gary Rogers Motorsport. So in the end, the gap was 0.69 of a second between McLaughlin and Whincup. Courtney celebrates re-signing with the Holden Racing team by getting on the podium yet again. And Fabian Coulthard and Jason Bright 4th and 5th for Bradley Jones Racing.
Up, turn 1 apparently.
These whiskers, mate. Richard just said, you can probably do those tyres in now. We're not going to use those again, those rear tyres. So Scotty's going to give it a little blast out of the turn 1 area there in the runoff road, celebrating his first Australian win, Matthew.
Look out, they might not know he's there. Thankfully he's on the runoff road.
Don't overheat it. That's not a good thing to do with one more to go.
He was very comfortable that lap that we had on board with him. He stalled it, has he? No. He was very, very comfortable.
Still tyres on those rims.
It's still rubber to get rid of. So 1 to 5 dominated by Holden. And then it was a Ford chain gang led by Chaz Mostert. Alex Davison finishing in 7th. Another top 10 for the Gelbwen Ford. Tim Slade just on the outside of the top 10. And that was Craig Lowndes, who started 15th, ends up in 12th position. Rick Kelly, Todd Kelly, James Moffat, Michael Caruso, the 4 Nissans also in a row. And another DNF, unfortunately, for Lee Holdsworth, who just can't take a trick at the moment. 5 straight DNFs. And this has been the story of the weekend. Jamie Whincup may have dominated yesterday with pole position and victory, but the young guys are standing up today. Scott McLaughlin gets the win. Chaz Mostert almost gets a top 5 spot. And Chaz will be starting the next race from the front row. He's not only popular with his fans, but also with his team. We've heard Gary Rogers speak glowingly of Scott McLaughlin, and the team mates and crew love him. He still works with him. He's an apprentice fabricator who continues to do the hard yards when he's not racing the car. And for the second time in this career, it was a little bit clunky, but we'll let that one go. Scott McLaughlin will be on the top step of the podium. 2 wins in just 13 races. There he is.
Well done.
And it's this kind of track, isn't it? We've seen it over the years. Tim Slade, we've mentioned. James Moffat had a good run here in his debut year. It just seems to be the kind of place where the youngsters come and have some fun. And to do it by holding off the championship leader who was so dominant yesterday is just reward.
Well, Scotty McLaughlin just congratulated by James Courtney. Scotty, 2nd win of the year, 2nd win of your career. Congratulations, you're becoming an old hand at this.
Oh, I doubt it, but if I get as many as Craig Lowndes, I'll be happy. But no, I'm stoked. So happy for the boys at GRM, giving me a great car, and I'm just living the dream.
Great start, mate. That made the difference today.
Yeah, I got a pretty good start. I was a bit nervous with how wet it was, but luckily I just got ahead of Jamie there, and so much easier just to control your own race at the front, and that's what we did. I was so happy.
Yeah, you really did it well, mate. Congratulations. Well done. Enjoy the podium. Jamie Whincup, great weekend, a win yesterday, and now we back it up with the 2nd place today. Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, obviously the car was as good as it was yesterday, but the GRM boys stepped up. So congratulations to them. It's only part 1 of 2 today, so yeah, we'll try to tune the thing up, and coming from 9th in the next one, so that should be a bit of fun.
Right, go get him. Good luck, Jamie. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thanks.
All right, and James Courtney, of course, has just signed that new deal with the Holden Racing team. James, congratulations. Good stuff, mate, and well done.
Maybe I should have done a 1-year deal and would have been first, but no, look, it's a great result for the team, especially after what just announced. So looks like it's a bit better. So no, I'm pretty happy, and today was great. Thanks everyone at home for watching. I would have liked to have been first or 2nd, but 3rd it is today.
That's really good. Enjoy the podium finish. Well done, JC.
Cheers. Thanks everyone for coming.
Hey, we spoke a bit about Davey Reynolds' flat spot in the in the race. Here's his front left tyre here. We're right. It is right in there. There's a big chunk of rubber off, mate. I reckon you were the luckiest guy in the race. I said I could see your eyeballs looking at your teammates racing each other behind you, and you had to save yourself with this tyre. You're pretty lucky.
Yeah, it was pretty tough out there. Like I was challenging for third position on the podium, which is, you know, a reasonable challenge, but didn't pay off. I sort of stuffed it, and you know that's what I got to live with. It's like playing sport with a broken arm, effectively, because I had no steering and I was really scared under brakes. But considering we finished 8th, you know, it's a good job.
Well, it is good news for this afternoon's races, mate, because clearly the car's quick enough. If you can do that with 3 tyres on the car, imagine what you're going to do with 4, pal.
And I start 3rd as well. Thanks, man.
Really looking forward to it, mate. Good luck this Savo.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a good effort to hold on to 8th, and as David just said to Larko, he starts the next race this afternoon from 3rd. So the championship picture after 23 races now. Well, Jamie Whincup has stretched the lead further to 177 points. The big winner there was Fabian Coulthard moving up to 5th, and Shane van Gisbergen is down to 9th. So 100 more points are on offer for the next race, race 24, which is coming up live, of course. And that's another 100-kilometre race. Still trying to work out what Gary Rogers was thinking when he painted his face, but it's worked, and he's got a victory from Scott McLaughlin, so maybe he should just keep it. Let's go to the podium.
The Coates Hire Ipswich 360, race 23 of our season. Would you please congratulate in first place for Fujitsu Racing GRM, Scott McLaughlin. In second place for Red Bull Racing Australia, Jamie Whincup. And in third place for the Holden Racing team, James Courtney. Representing the winning team, Fujitsu Racing GRM, Richard Holway. Making the presentation of the third place trophy is Kevin Fitzsimmons, V8 Supercars Operations Manager from Dunlop. Presenting the second place trophy is the Mayor of the City of Ipswich, Paul Pizzali. Making the presentation to our winning team is Mark Perry, the Director of Promoted Events at V8 Supercars. And presenting to first place, the Executive General Manager, Market Strategy and Planning from our naming rights sponsor, Coates Hire, Mark Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 V8 Supercars Coates Hire Ipswich 360 Race 23 winners.
What a fantastic effort from Scott McLaughlin. Jamie Whincup on the podium again, and James Courtney